Hello, everyone. Today I am going to be talking through the income and expense tracker in Google Sheets and Excel. If you have already purchased this tracker, thank you so much for your order. And if you've stumbled across this video and you're looking for a good way to track your income and expenses, I will include a link to purchase the tracker below. Feel free to grab it and follow along. I have the Google Sheets version open, but feel free to follow along in Excel as well. So the dashboard is going to be the first thing you see when you open up your tracker. Everything's going to be pretty blank, but no worries. This will all come to life as you populate the income tracker and the expense tracker. So let's start with the income tracker first. So when you click on this tab, you are going to see that there are two categories populated in here for you, and then you'll see that there's individual income types here as well. What's really neat about this tracker is you can customize any of these options. So say you want to rename this to salary instead of wages, and say you want to give other a name, feel free to literally just click in the cell and type over what you want to customize it to. And that also goes for the income type. So same thing. If you want to type in salary instead of paycheck, go ahead and really customize it for you as well. If there is a category in here that does not apply to you, instead of deleting a row, what I typically recommend is you highlight the row by basically clicking in it on the left-hand side. And then you would just right click and click hide row. And then that would just hide the row and it wouldn't mess up any of the formulas or anything like that. So that's probably what I would do to recommend. But the first step is going to be to customize your categories and add in all of your personal income types to make the tracker work well for you. And then over on the right-hand side, so we have January all the way through December. And then we have a totals column that automatically updates for you as well. And then you'll see too, each category has totals that automatically calculate for you. So there is no math needed to use this tracker, which is amazing. What you are going to do for each month, for each income type, is you are going to put in your planned income. So say you anticipate your salary being $1,000, maybe 500 in tips, 300 in bonus, 200 in commission, and again, you can leave other blank. Then what you would do after January ends is you would come in the actual column and you would put in what your actual salary was. So let's say you made a little bit more than you were expecting for your salary, came in a little bit shy of your tips, you blew your bonus out of the water, and you blew your commission out of the water. You would put in your actual here as well. So the planned, think of the planned as your budget. So this is going to be what you expect to make versus what you actually make, which is really neat. And then you can do the same thing. So this would be like if you have investment assets, what your dividends would be. Interest these days, depending on what you're investing in, might be a little bit low. And you can come in and populate some of those categories down there as well. And then same thing at the end of the month, you can go in and populate what you actually made in terms of income. So once you have applied all of your planned and then your actual, you're going to see these totals at the bottom. So this $2,600 with, I guess, a little bit over is going to be what you are planning for January. What's really neat is you just want to kind of keep this number in the back of your mind as you are planning out your expenses for January to make sure that you aren't overspending in any certain category. So let's do that. Let's hop over to the expenses. You're actually going to see that there's a bunch of categories over here as well. I have 11 categories in here for you just to get started. And again, you can just click in here, rename them, and customize it as you see fit. And then for each category, I have expense types that match that category. So again, all of these are super customizable. The first step you're going to want to do on the expense tracker is either use all of the categories and expenses as they are, or come in and rename them as they best suit you. And again, if you don't have, some of these, you can just kind of come in here and then you would click hide for the rows that you are not using. So you're going to want to do the same thing for your planned expenses. So you would come in here and you would put in what you are thinking about for each of these planned expenses over here. And I'll just do a couple just to kind of get us started here. And then at the end of the month, so after January 31st, then you would come back in here and you would put in actually how much you spent in each of these individual categories. So let's say you're pretty good. So you are, maybe just a little bit over budget in one or two categories, but for the most part, you really stuck to planned. When you scroll all the way down to the bottom of your spreadsheet, you will see expense totals for the month as well. So you'll see planned expense totals and then actual expense totals. And then you want to compare and make sure that your planned and actual do not exceed your planned and actual for your income as well. So, like hopping back between the two tabs is super helpful. And then as you go throughout the year for both income and expenses, the very right hand side of your spreadsheet is going to be totals, not only for each of your categories for the year, but then you will also have yearly totals at the very bottom of your spreadsheet as well. Now, in this case, since I just put in January, it's really going to match what the totals are for January. But as you go throughout the year, it's going to tell you your expense totals in each category as well as overall. And the same applies for income too. So you'll see that those automatically calculate. So once you have, a month in here, then feel free to hop back to your dashboard. This automatically updates in real time for you. So it'll have your total planned income, your total actual income. These will both be year to date. It'll be a nice little chart for you too, just so you can kind of visualize it in a different way. And then expenses will be on the right-hand side. This section is going to basically break down income on the left and expenses on the right. It'll break down your planned versus actual income for all 12 months out of the year. And then same thing on the expense side as well. And then it'll actually start breaking down your income categories versus your expense categories too. So it'll tell you, it'll kind of show you with the chart the percentage of income based on your category versus the actual. And then same thing over here. As you add in additional expenses, I know it's just showing you, these two categories so far, but once you populate all the categories, those will automatically show up here for you as well. So I encourage you to stop back to the dashboard basically after you add in planned and actual expenses for each month. It'll show you some visual progress and it'll help you stay on track. Thank you again for following along. I hope this tracker is helpful for you. Good luck with all of your goals, and I will see you in the next video.